Thank you very much, dear friends, for joining me this afternoon. This is a Sunday, and you could have been somewhere else. But the very fact that you chose to be here speaks highly about yourself. So claps for all of you. So today I am going to share a very important part of my life. And this part of my life is very close to my heart. Actually, that's my heart. Okay? Normally, this type of topic nobody will discuss in public. But I chose to share this part of my life with you just because I feel that you are all part of my family. So, big hug to all of you. Thank you. So, the year was 1977. I was going through a very tough time. Backtrack a few years, I was the topper in my class. From 1st standard to 7th standard. And then after that, some tragedy happened. We are 2 brothers and 3 sisters in our family. My elder brother chose to work in Mumbai. So, he was my role model, he was my guardian, he was my friend, he was everything for me. And suddenly I didn't have my brother with me. And there was darkness in my eyes. What to do? And that showed up in my academics. So I failed to succeed that number 1 position from 8th onwards. And it happened for 3 years. So 11th was a standard where it was called higher secondary, Now it is called senior secondary, 10 plus 2. So it was the same standard called higher secondary. And higher secondary is a very important landmark in your life. And I could not score 1st division. That time 1st division was like big thing, Like what you will get 99% today was considered at the same level. If you score 1st division and above, you have arrived in life. So I could not manage to get 1st division and I did not know what to do. But fortunately for me, I got the admission in number 1 premium college called Hansraj College, Delhi. And I didn't know that I am a lucky one, at that time. Hansraj is known to be number 1 in mathematics in Delhi University. And I was lucky to get the mathematics honors admission. And there I was, putting my heart and soul and dedication and sincerity towards making my life better. Because God has given me another chance. Although I failed to secure a 1st division, which could have meant, applying for IIT and all that. I didn't even know what is IIT at that time, to be very honest, IIT became big brand later on. I'm talking about 1977. So what happened was that 1st year was far better than my higher secondary score. 2nd year was even better. So I was doing back on track, I was doing fine. Mathematics is something I like. And that's when another event happened in my life. At that time, our college was known to be boys only. When I was in 3rd year, it became co-ed. So, boys were very excited. And I didn't know why they were excited, because I was totally dedicated. Tunnel vision. I have to, work hard, get good marks, get good career. So I was not into girls and all that. So I was working very hard, I was very sincere, and but the boys, very, happy, and they were having good time. So at that time, there was something called Operational Research Society. So they were inviting every month, like we have a PSAI monthly meeting, we were having Operations Research Society monthly meeting in our college, and every time the in charge of OR society had a difficult time in deciding whom to invite. It has to be something beyond your academics. Something that you don't study in your normal class. And so, being a kida, right? Being a bookworm, I was always in the library. So while I have done all my homework, I found some book called Number Theory, and that sparkled something in me. Oh, that's very wonderful. It's like magical, magic with the numbers. So what I did was I informed my in charge of the society that is it possible that I deliver a talk? Because they were supposed to be experts, who were coming to deliver the talk. But as a student, nobody had come forward. I took the decision to just approach, and he was very happy. He was more than glad. He said, "Yeah, this is the spirit of the society, that we want to encourage students, but nobody else came forward. You came forward, so fantastic, come." So I delivered the talk, and it was attended by all the students and teachers, and it was appreciated a lot. And I didn't know, after the talk, there is a girl who approached me. Her name is Renu. Renu said, "CK, you did a marvelous job." I said, "Fine, thank you very much." I took it in my stride, and time passed. And we were having lunch one day, in the open. धूप आ रही थी, धूप में बैठ के lunch enjoy कर रहे थे. Suddenly two girls came towards us, right? And one of them was Renu. And she said, "I want to take your help in solving some sums." I was very happy to help them out, So I gave them all the solutions that they were looking for, and that was the end of the conversation. And then, does anybody know what is U special in Delhi?
Yes, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
Those days.
University specials, buses,
Yes.
DTC. So I was going by U special, and suddenly I noticed the other girl, not Renu, also in the U special. And she looked at me, I looked at her, there was nothing, no exchange. We just smiling, that's it. And those days, the U special was crammed, there were so many children in one bus, we could hardly get a spot to stand also, let alone sitting. So there was definitely no scope for any conversation, But one day, here comes my buddy from Hansraj College. So, what happened was very interesting, Like I said, I am a very studious person. I was a very studious person. So, I never missed a single class ever in my life. Okay? तो टाइम पे पहुंच जाता है और सारा अटेंड करते हैं, कुछ नहीं छोड़ते हम, राइट? आजकल तो रिवाज नहीं है हमारे जैसे लोगों का. आजकल तो बैक बेंचर्स आर वर्शिप्ड लाइक एनीथिंग, since the days of Bill Gates, right? So dropouts are worshipped, backbenchers are worshipped. But I belong to the old generation, and I always sit on the front. Even people must have seen I was always on the first bench in PSS 2020 also. मुझे समझ ही नहीं आता, सेकंड रो में बैठने में मुझे समझ नहीं आता. So I can't understand anything because there is a person between me and the speaker, and I can't tolerate that. So this is the way I am brought up, and there were some festivals, So during the festivals, the attendance is very poor. Okay, so then that day, it was like next day to Diwali or something. I saw her and she saw me in the same view special. Now we had seats for the first time, right? And then after some time she came and sat beside me. And you have met my wife, right? So
Suspense अभी से
so
non-committal.
मैंने अपनी स्टोरी बताई थी ना शायद नहीं बताई थी
Not in that much detail.
हाँ कोई बात नहीं वो तो कटिंग हो जाएगा कोई दिक्कत नहीं
वाइफ की बात करते हैं ऑर्गेनिक
परवाह नहीं करनी चाहिए so what happened was hi welcome तो आपने कुछ मिस कर दिया है थोड़ा फाउंडेशन so what happened was she sat besides me and she says hello. I said hello because we knew each other, she had taken some help from me and that's how we were in the same college, so there was not much discussion. Then another day same thing happened. The attendance was poor. She got the next seat and she again said, I want to take your help to decide what I should choose as the optional papers in the third year. Now she's in the first year, I am in the third year, but she's looking beyond, So why I am sharing all that? First of all, let me take a back seat. Why I am sharing my personal details and my intimate love story with you? You need to relate it to sales process. So while I am sharing, you have to think how you can use the same strategies in the sales. And I'll give you 10 minutes at the end. And that will be our brainstorming session on what you learned through my love story and how you can apply it in your own business. Is that a good deal?
Yeah.
Right, so you can take notes if you want to. Alright? दोनों नहीं, right? Love story means आग दोनों तरफ से बराबर लगेगी, है कि नहीं? तो ये पता भी नहीं था हमें कि चल रहा है, लेकिन you have to now think in your own sales situation how you can entice your audience, your prospective customers to buy your product. In this case, I am the product. My whole life, this person standing in front of you is the product, and for me, she is the product, right? But we were not aware that we are buying each other, right? That is a beautiful part in a love story. And what lessons you draw? That you do not create products to sell. You create products to add value to other people's life. Okay? If you are just doing it for the money without passion, it's not going to help you. So create a product which is so beautiful that you get the buyers automatically without your effort, without your selling effort, without your strategy. Alright? Then what happened? I said, okay, I will help you. I gave her some guidance on what papers to choose in the third year. And then I graduated to MSc and she was still continuing in her BSc. And then one day she said, I want to take your help. See, how many times she is saying help? So what is the meaning of help? How do you relate it to sales process? It's customer interventions, right? If you want to draw attention from your prospective audience, you have to create a reason for the interaction. Every time she created a very valid reason. First time she was approaching through a friend. Although she got connection while I was delivering the talk in the seminar, okay, I did not know her. I did not connect with her. She found another stakeholder, Renu, who was also interested to talk to me, and she was impressed. But she was not buying the product. The other person was buying the product. So she used the other person in a positive way to break the ice. So this is the way we have to approach, networking helps. So you don't have to necessarily approach the person directly, you can use the networking. So PSI provides you an excellent platform. One of the questions Vinay was asking that, how does PSI help me in improving my business? So this is one way, So you may know Vikas, and Vikas may know Frederick Heron, and who can help you get to business, So he is your Renu, Vikas is your Renu, okay? Right? Okay? Okay, so give me the time, what time, how much time I have? 15 minutes है ना? नहीं, I can carry on because I do. नहीं, मुझे 10 मिनट पहले बता देना because I now open at that time. Or do I get 10 minutes extra for that? उसी में है ना? तो 35 मिनट जब हो जाए तो बता दीजिएगा. Right? Okay, let's continue. So where was I? All right. So she said, I want another. And now this time, she said, I want to see the Delhi University Central Library. Now Central Library is accessible only for the PG students. She found a very valid reason, right? And she is also studious. And number one, I didn't mention that. Why I bought that product also? I saw for the first time in my life somebody scoring 95%. Math, we were studying mathematics. 95%, right? And I noticed some name. I did not know her. Harjeet. I did not know who's Harjeet, But later on, once we started interacting, this is the girl, who scored 95%. So I also bought the product, and she also bought it because I was delivering the lecture, and she got impressed with my knowledge, and she said, this is going to be my mentor, and I was impressed with 95%. I told you that I failed to score even the first division, during those days. For me, 95% is like heaven, So, जैसे मैंने दोनों तरफ से कुछ ना कुछ चल रहा था, process was going on. But we did not know that we are traveling this path. It was just like smooth sailing without any conscious effort on anybody's part. So, where do we got the lesson for sales in this? That if you make your product in such a way that it's going to help the prospective customers, they will definitely buy it. You don't have to make any effort in selling yourself. Do you think it is a good lesson? Yes. And you don't have to therefore create any strategies because you are a product in evolution. You are evolving as a person, as a product, as a service. So you also keep on enhancing your skills and your competencies and your knowledge so that the other person who's charmed will keep on getting charmed by you. Right? Next. So I showed her the central library. And then besides the central library, there was coffee house, great coffee house. So I asked, would you like to have a cup of coffee? Of course, she said yes. So we had a cup of coffee together. So I did not know what is dating at that time. We were just having friends, I was mentoring her and I was enjoying her. She was enjoying the time with me, I was enjoying the time with her. I did not know what is dating.
So before dating you were enjoying her or after dating her?
No, dating ही चल रहा था, मुझे पता बाद में चला.
लेकिन enjoying before dating.
Enjoying का मतलब क्या है? I don't know what you mean by enjoying. frequent visits to central library and then coffee, without any intention to do anything, of working anything together. So how it finally came to me. In the second year of my MSc, before the second year starts, and there is a summer break, so we were taken to a study tour in Bangalore. And when I came back from there, so there was a gap of about 10-15 days. So when we met again, she said something and that confirmed what we were going through. And that was very yaad nahi aayi. So then I knew, okay, what I was going through, what she was going through. So that confirmed. Story यहाँ end नहीं होती. That was just the beginning of story. कितनी देर रह गई हमारे पास?
जब आप जाने वाले
10 मिनट
अभी 10 मिनट है ना? हाँ, इसीलिए। तो फिर 10 मिनट रह गए, तो 10 मिनट में अब आप
आपका समय खत्म हो गया।
मेरा बोलने का समय खत्म हो गया। अब आप now it's time for you to interact and tell me what you learned, because my story can keep on. I can deliver 10 such lectures, So part 1 हो गया आज.
प्रेम कहानी
तो लाइफ लॉन्ग चलती रहेगी, कभी खत्म नहीं होगी.
Okay, so what are you talking about? Love strategy or something?
Yeah. So बताइए.
Related to the sales strategy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love means what? Liking for a product. So your customers are loving you. In our PSI parlance, in our training parlance, we are the product. There is no company. If I like Vikas Jain, that's why I am in PSI today. Right? Okay. Okay. So if I like,
Vikas.
if I so if Vinay likes PSI, that's why he is here, right? So that liking is the first step. Loving means it's a deep meaning.
चेक कर रही है
Yes, absolutely. So does that answer your question?
Yes.
So we are in love with each other. Of course we are. We are in love with our organization. We are in love with our profession. We are in love with our family. We are in love with the clubs that we join. We are in love with the country that we live in. So
The other thing that's come to my mind when we talk about your story, can I share? No?
yeah,
When
definitely.
we're talking about the story of love and the sales.
Yeah.
So, of late I have been into the experience, sales happens, and when you present yourself, that you are adding value to the customer. So it's not that sales is happening when you push something.
Yeah.
When you relate your story,
Yes.
so there was no push.
Yes.
Which was happening.
Absolutely.
So it
Absolutely.
was just a presence.
Right.
What you showed as a value. to the
Exactly.
person.
Exactly.
And in the whole process, love took its course.
Right.
Similarly, if a customer would see somebody or some product that this can add value to my life, there is no need to push. So
Right.
that itself is communicating. So
Absolutely.
the other point that I would take it from this conversation that there is a communication strategy
Yes.
which was going on without you being knowing.
Exactly.
So even when you are not communicating, you are still communicating as a customer
Absolutely.
and as your other product.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
It's also
Any other?
I'm not clear who the buyer here is and who the seller is.
Buyer is Renu and Mr. C.K. both. Both are buyers and both are sellers.
Exactly. That's what I.
But one buyer, one seller is more assertive here than the other one. This buyer is
So
quite
that's what I'm saying. There's no push and pull is coming. So it's something is getting communicated across each other. So that's what the story tells.
okay.
But when you actually, that also gives you another perspective that if you don't have a communication strategy in your business, you're still communicating to your customer. So why don't you have a conscious communication strategy so that you eventually impact your customer in a better way and keep the market share. This is what comes to mind.
Actually, I have just attended part of it, but on a serious. So, as a speech, everything is a speech, so everything is good. But from a serious thought intention to make it happen and then it happened, I could still relate to the sales process. But in this case, where the way story is conveyed that there was not even intention and then relating it to the sales process, so I'm not at all able to relate it, because it's not like that I just started creating a product and somebody will eventually buy it, and so that kind of thing can happen in that love process, but for a sales process to happen, one should know the product. But somehow from your speech, that thing is not coming out, that intention was even there.
So what this is what exactly is happening. So even when what this message is getting communicated, कि आपके पास कोई communication strategy नहीं है ना अगर, तो भी कुछ ना कुछ communicate कर ही रहेगा. So maybe that could be the take.
But when we talk about the business, तो वो तो जरूरी है ना, अपने आप को कुछ नहीं बेच सकता.
For a speech to
If you ask for feedback is different.
So बिना बेचे, बिना उसको प्रमोट करे, बिना कम्युनिकेशन की बारे में तैयारी करे, तो अपने आप कोई भी प्रोडक्ट बिक ही नहीं सकता ना. आई कम्प्लीटली एग्री, प्रोडक्ट शुड बी अप टू द मार्क. आपका प्रोडक्ट अच्छा होना ही चाहिए, दिस इज द बेसिक एंड फर्स्ट थिंग. लेकिन उसके लिए बेचना भी तो पड़ेगा ना. अपने आप तो कैसे पता चलेगा? आई नो वन कंपनी हु इज द मैन्युफैक्चरर ऑफ द एयर कंडीशनर्स. सो he is the only company, he is the manufacturer of the AC जो केवल 250 वोल्ट पे चलता है. जिस एसी को चलाने के लिए हमको 1.5 किलोवाट की बिजली चाहिए, उसका एसी उतनी ही कूलिंग 250 वोल्ट पे देता है. तो पंखे की कंजम्पशन पे उसका एसी चलता है. एंड हिज एसी इन टर्म्स ऑफ इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंजम्पशन इज नो वन कैन सोच भी नहीं सकता. एंड उस एसी का नाम मैं अगर बताऊं तो हम में से कोई नहीं जानता होगा. इस एसी नेम इज ग्री एसी. ग्री, GREE. सो बट दिस इज, अब आप सोचो अगर आपका एक पंखे को चलाने का बिजली का बिल महीने का 4000 रुपए आता है, तो आपको वो पंखा, वो एसी चलाने की कॉस्ट जो है वो केवल 750 रुपीज आएगी. 1/6. That normal AC is 1.5.
Despite the Kejriwal free price.
Despite the fact, so the cost is 1/6 if you are in Delhi, Mumbai, Hyderabad, Australia, Switzerland, anywhere. तो वो इसलिए क्योंकि प्रमोशन उसकी खतरनाक तरीके से नहीं. Maybe the product is very good. Now I know the name of that AC. हम में से हो सकता है वो एक आध कोई ढूंढे होगी. 1/6 का बिल बड़ा important है.
Sorry to interrupt you.
हाँ.
Because